The South Bank Show, sponsored by Barclays Private Bank. Traditional values with innovative thinking.
Tonight we cross the channel to take a look at a French phenomenon, Johnny Hallyday, the biggest rock star France has ever known. Johnny Hallyday began his singing career 44 years ago, embracing Anglo-American rock from the outset. Having sold well over 100 million records, he's still at the top. Indeed, Marie, released last year on his 60th birthday, was the fastest-selling single in France ever. Although he's gained some international recognition as an actor, notably for the film L'Homme du Train, Johnny Hallyday has not exported well as a singer outside the French-speaking world. In this film, we examine France's enduring passion for its rocker national and how this untypically French artist gives us a different take on French culture.
Sur la scène de ma vie, dans le soleil d'un projecteur. Je n'étais qu'un enfant, mais alors j'ai compris l'envie qui dormait dans mon cœur. Je suis un rock'n'roll man, rock'n'roll man. Je suis un rock'n'roll man, rock'n'roll man. Je le savais, je le sentais. Je suis un rock'n'roll man, rock'n'roll. On l'appelait le king of rock'n'roll. Il était devenu l'idole. Quand il chantait, la foule criait son nom et les filles devenaient folles. C'était un rock'n'roll man, rock'n'roll man. C'était un rock'n'roll man, rock'n'roll man. Je l'admirais, le rock'n'roll man.
He's like a god.
Ses cheveux noirs dans ses caches, sont presque ses yeux. Lorsqu'il chantait.
Nobody say I don't like Johnny Hallyday. No. He's, you know, like the Eiffel Tower or...
Il avait dans les yeux l'ombre qu'avait laissé la misère de toute une enfant.
How did you get the name Johnny Hallyday? Because that isn't your birth name.
No. My real name is Jean-Philippe Smet, but you don't see a rock and roll singer called Jean-Philippe Smet, do you? Me neither. It's a long story. Johnny Hallyday came because I was raised by an American from Tulsa, Oklahoma. His name was Lee Ketchum, and he could not pronounce Jean-Philippe. No, he was American. He said Jean-Philippe. So he said, okay, Johnny. So he called me Johnny all the time. His father had a heart attack and was saved by the doctor who was called Hallyday. His name was Hallyday. So when I started to sing, I took Johnny, and Hallyday as a good luck name.
T'as pas les nouvelles danses, ni les films de suspense. T'as mieux qu'on s'installe dans un petit jardin, tout seul la main dans la main sentimentale.
I believe Presley had a particular influence on you.
Actually, Elvis Presley was the first rock and roll singer I saw because Elvis was the first rock and roll singer who did movies.
There's a moon that's big and bright in the Milky Way tonight, but the way you act, you never would know it's there. Now, baby, time's a wasting. A lot of kisses I ain't been tasting. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna get my share.
Presley electrified people, didn't he? Did you feel when you saw him this was quite a different
Yes,
thing?
because he was, well, he was moving like nobody was moving before. You know, like we call him Elvis the pelvis. First of all, he had a great voice. And he had something like an animal, you know, with his hair falling down.
And no wonder I'd rather do it with than
You really liked his voice, did you? Because people don't talk enough about it. It's a wonderful voice.
I think he was a great singer, really great singer. He had a sexy voice. And no girl could say anything against that, you know.
Ma mère me dit régulièrement, tu n'as plus rien, tu perds ton temps. Tu ferais mieux de travailler au lieu de t'en aller traîner. Laisse les filles en rang. Oui, laisse les filles, tu as bien le temps d'avoir des milliers d'embêtements, crois-moi.
In March 1960, you had this very first single, and a whole generation identified with Johnny.
At school, with my friends, we were speaking about this strange guy we saw the day before the TV. And we can say that from this time, everything was completely different in our minds and in the music.
Johnny Hallyday was, now I can see that clearly, but I can't at the time. He was a cross between James Dean and Elvis Presley. That's it, you know, and my parents didn't like him at all, so that was a good reason to listen to him.
It was so much different than the music we were used to hear, to listen to in France. Great singers like Edith Piaf, Louis Mariano, Maurice Chevalier, well, it was completely different.
Dans le ciel qui n'existe pas, les anges font vite un paradis pour elle, une auréole et deux bouts d'ailes, et elle s'envole.
The French music scene in the late 50s was cut in halves. You had on one side the singer-songwriters. There was a brilliant generation that started in the 50s. Georges Brassens, Jacques Brel, Charles Aznavour.
La bohème, ça ne veut plus rien dire du tout.
And you had the exotique chanson. Exotique chanson was represented by mainly female singers like Gloria Lasso. They were singing with funny accents.
Qué bonitos ojos tienes debajo de esas dos cejas, debajo de esas dos cejas. Qué bonitos ojos tienes.
And it was, of course, hated by the younger generation. All the baby boomers that were starting to have like 15, 16, 17 years, and they were hungry for something new.
It was the beginning of this big wave which came from the United States, and the name of this wave was rock and roll.
Dis, Johnny, qu'est-ce que tu danses? C'est drôlement chouette, ça. Comment ça s'appelle?
C'est le masque potato. En Amérique, tous les jeunes le dansent.
Ça ressemble un peu au Charleston?
Oui, un peu au slap aussi.
Tu veux pas nous l'apprendre?
Si, bien sûr. Allez, tout le monde autour de moi. Apprends-moi la main. Toi, petit béguin. Oh, oui, viens avec moi. Apprends notre nouveau pas.
Became France's first rock star. How did the establishment in France react to having suddenly a rock star? Because the tradition in France was so very, very different.
I know. In those times, there was no music for the kids. And so rock and roll, it started to be a movement in France. A guy from Europe, #1, my first record came out and he said, "You'll never hear that record again," and broke the record. The same as Elvis, I heard that Elvis had the same in the States. And that helped me because all the kids start to say, yes, that generation, we don't want that generation anymore, we want rock and roll now.
He expressed at the time a feeling of liberation, It was under de Gaulle period, very moral period, and Johnny expressed with other people, he was not alone, he expressed this aspiration to a free society.
De Gaulle said that your fans should be put in road gangs, didn't he? Because they had too much energy.
He said the same thing about me, too. But I did my army, actually.
This is the scene any day with the French troops at Offenburg, Germany. But keep your eye on one very smart soldier, Sergeant Smet. Never heard of him? Well, you have and you haven't. He and the rest are going to receive their letters from home. A popular parade in any army.
Sergeant Smet.
Sergeant Smet gets a sack full. Why? Because it's fan mail. Smet's the #1 pop singer of France, known to the world as Johnny Hallyday.
Je t'écris souvent, je pense à toi.
For years and years, the adult generation hated anything related to Johnny Hallyday. He wasn't supposed to last very long.
He was so fresh. Johnny Hallyday was really fresh. I mean, he was young, he was wild, and no afterthought. That's probably one of the main points on Johnny Hallyday's career. He never played being Elvis Presley or James Dean. He was Elvis Presley and James Dean.
Amour d'été, on le dit, ne peut pas durer. Ce n'est pas fait pour la vie, un amour d'été.
For years, Johnny would sing French adaptations of Anglo-Saxon hits. But he was doing it with sincerity. I believe that. The French people didn't have access to the originals. The records were not distributed. So they had to be happy with the French translations.
Was it a problem sometimes to translate the English lyrics into French? I know you sing in English as well.
Yes.
To translate them into
Sometimes, yes, because, some words in English, if you translate them exactly from English to French, doesn't mean the same thing.
Et regarde un peu, celle qui vient. C'est la plus belle de tout le quartier. Et mon plus grand désir serait de lui parler. Elle a guiche mes amis, même les plus petits. Pourtant pour elle, je n'ai pas l'impression d'exister. Mais tout ceci ne m'empêche pas de penser. Cette fille-là, mon vieux, elle est terrible.
It wasn't an easy thing to adapt or translate the American or English hits in French. Much more simpler to be poetic in French chanson than to be rhythmic.
Hey Joe, cours pas comme ça, dis y a pas le feu chez toi. Hey Joe, viens dire bonjour, t'en mourras pas.
There was a sense at that time of performers like yourself all over the world being a sort of gang. I think you gave the first chance to Jimi Hendrix, for instance.
Hendrix was playing in a club in London. I think it's the Marquis. And I was having dinner there with Otis Redding. And I heard him, and I said, that guy is great. He should come on tour with me. So after the show, he came out at our table, and I asked him, and he said, I'd love to do it. And I think it was his first tour that he did when he created his group. And he went on marvelously. He was such a great guy. We became very friends. And I miss him very much.
Et pour toi, Joe, il y a toujours une place, mais pas pour moi. Pourquoi?
He should have been washed away when the hippie things arrive, but he didn't, because he jumped on the wagon and he was one of them.
Il ne vit pas dans le passé, dans ses plus belles années justement de sa jeunesse, de sa gloire, où il était consacré idole des jeunes en France. Bon, après justement un certain nombre d'échecs, il a toujours su se relever, se remettre en question, se lancer de nouveaux défis, et qui étaient le seul moyen pour lui de progresser et de s'adapter, notamment à travers les modes musicales qui ont été nombreuses depuis l'arrivée du rock'n'roll en France.
She's a rock and roll man. Rock and roll man. She's a rock and roll man. Rock and roll man. She's a rock and roll man. Rock and roll man. Something dirty, 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 tutti frutti, tutti frutti. Don't Sally, don't Sally. A honky tonk woman, honky tonk woman. She's a rock and roll man. Rock and roll man. She's a rock and roll man. Rock and roll man. She's a rock and roll man. Rock and roll man. She's a rock and roll man. Rock and roll man. She's a rock and roll. Why she's a rock and roll man, yeah.
Seems to whisper Louise, birds in the trees seem to twitter Louise. Each little rose tells me it knows I love you, love you. Every little bit that I feel in my heart seems to repeat what I felt at the start. Each little sigh tells me that I adore you, Louise.
When I was a kid, I went to Maurice Chevalier's house because my aunt knew him, and I sang a song, and he said, yeah, it's good, you're young, but if you do this job, be sure of one thing. Always do an event when you come on stage and an event when you go out of stage. In the middle, well, do what you can, sing, you know. And I always did that in all my shows.
You did some great events when you go to. Sometimes it looks very dangerous. You entered one massive stadium as a boxer enters an arena, and the crowd appeared to nearly crush you to death.
I will never do this again. In my idea, you know, it was at the Parc of France in Paris. In my idea, it was to come on stage and to come, yeah, like a boxer, you know, goes to the ring. But except there were 60,000 people there. And the people came, and you know, I was like, I'm gonna die. When finally I went on the stage, I say, oh God, I have to do this again tomorrow. I was feeling very nervous about it. Yeah. You know, because anything could happen, you know.
He is huge. He is absolutely huge. When he sold out the Stade de France, which is this huge football stadium outside Paris, he sold it out for 3 nights in a row. When the previous month, the Rolling Stones had to cancel the second night of their proposed 2-night run because they couldn't sell enough tickets.
When you see Johnny on stage, he's a beast. He has so much power. His lungs are so strong. He screams his head off, and you can see the veins, and he's so powerful. He's like a phallic symbol. I really believe that. He's a symbol of France's eternal youth.
Tourner le temps à l'orage, oui, revenir à l'état sauvage, penser les portes, les barrages, oui, sortir le loup de sa cage, sentir le vent qui se déchaîne, battre le sang dans nos veines, monter le son des guitares et le prix des mots, tout qui démarre. Il suffira d'une étincelle, qu'à rien, qu'un geste. Il suffira d'une étincelle, qu'un mot d'amour, et pour allumer le feu, allumer le feu, et faire danser les diables et les dieux.
Are you ever amazed yourself at the fact that you can pack out stadium after stadium after stadium?
I don't say I deserve it, but I'm working very hard on it. Most of the people are coming for my music, but there's a lot of people who come who doesn't buy my records, who maybe are not attracted to my music. They come to see me on stage because they know that on stage I'm always doing big shows.
Et c'est derrière toutes nos peines, oui, nos haches de guerre, nos problèmes, je les rêver de nos chaînes, oui, lâcher le lion dans l'arène, je veux la foudre et l'éclair. Allez, mon nom.
Pour moi, c'est une bête de scène, quoi. Et surtout à son âge, c'est quand même un rythme qu'il faut quand même tenir à 60 ans. Il y a une bonne condition physique, certainement, ouais, c'est sûr.
Il n'y a qu'à regarder les gens dans la queue et ça va de 7 à 77 ans, voilà.
What amazes me always is the cross-section of the population that seem to adore him. Even sort of the real sort of left bank, left-wing intellectuals.
Maintenant, il n'y a plus un seul intellectuel et puis un seul homme politique qui ne disent pas fan de Johnny Hallyday. Bon, il y a une part d'opportunisme et tout ça, peut-être là-dedans, mais c'est une façon aussi à eux de reconnaître à la fois la qualité des chansons que chante Johnny, mais également le phénomène social que représente Johnny Hallyday.
Ah, bah je suis né avec lui, c'est pour ça, on est nés ensemble.
Through Johnny, many French people, I repeat, recognize themselves.
Johnny, ça représente une partie de mon enfance, parce que je l'ai connu, déjà j'avais 14 ans. C'était dans ses débuts, et moi c'est une idole, je l'aime beaucoup. Ça fait déjà 3 fois que j'y vais, et c'est pas fini, je crois que j'irai jusqu'au bout. Il est formidable.
At my age, I must say, I want the biggest audience possible, so I do rock and roll. But as well, when I do a show, a concert, I do rock and roll. I do like 60% of rock and roll and 40% of more commercial ballads and songs like that, because that's why I have people in my audience, you know, like from 8 years old to 60.
Parce qu'il est beau et puis il a une belle voix.
C'est à peu près mon âge. Et puis qu'il a une durée extraordinaire. Pour nous, c'est quelqu'un d'extraordinaire, qui génère une passion. C'est le plus grand chanteur français pour nous.
Moi, oui, c'est la première fois. Mon père, c'est la 3e fois. Parce que c'est un fan, et moi aussi. Au revoir.
L'essentiel de ses fans se trouve en région, en province. Au nombre de cartes, par exemple, sur le fan club officiel, les 3/4 des adhérents sont en province, sont très peu à Paris. Ça, c'est intéressant. Et c'est vrai qu'ils appartiennent essentiellement à des milieux modestes, ou des classes sociales modestes, genre ouvriers, paysans. Et c'est vrai que c'est le socle dur, si vous voulez, des fans de Johnny.
Toute la musique que j'aime, elle vient de là, elle vient du blues. Les mots ne sont jamais les mêmes pour exprimer ce qu'est le blues. J'y mets mes joies, j'y mets mes peines, et tout ça, ça devient le blues. Je le chante autant que je l'aime, et je le chanterai toujours.
J'écoute sa musique quand je travaille avec mon tracteur, quand je fais des longues journées, je mets une cassette. J'ai que les cassettes de Johnny. Quelquefois, quand je travaille dans mes champs et tout, ça m'arrive de chanter. Tout seul, pas en public.
Dieu et puis l'amour, la musique vivra tant que le blues. Le blues, ça veut dire que je t'aime.
Quand j'étais au Parc des Princes, ma place, je l'ai pris 1 an et demi à l'avance. Je me suis levé à 5 heures. Je suis arrivé sur les lieux à 6 heures. On est rentré à 4 heures de l'après-midi. Attendre 9 heures du soir le concert. Mais il n'y a pas le temps, on n'a pas le temps de s'ennuyer parce qu'entre nous, de quoi on parle. On parle de Johnny.
Mais tous les 10 ans, on dit Johnny c'est fini, et tous les 10 ans, il est encore là.
Beaucoup de chansons sont des classiques maintenant. Hein.
Et à l'origine, il n'est même pas français, hein. Il est belge.
C'est un belge.
Un jour qui va mourir, il y a beaucoup d'imbéciles qui vont se suicider. Hein.
J'y mets mes joies, moi j'y mets mes peines, et tout ça, ça devient le blues. Je le chante autant que je l'aime, et je le chanterai toujours. Bien longtemps sur les guitares, des mains noires lui donnaient le jus, pour chanter les peines et les espoirs, et pour chanter Dieu et puis l'amour.
It's funny when you think about it that the French audience is fascinated by an imitation of Anglo-Saxon rock, personified by Johnny Hallyday, when at the same time we are really anti-American. It didn't start with the Iraq War, of course, it started long before.
If you're a bit more cynical, you could say that he's kind of the symbol of a country that loves all that, but just somehow sadly knows that it has never produced anything like James Dean or the Beatles or the Stones or Elvis, and it knows it never will.
Johnny Hallyday dans un costume cravate peu habituel. Le chanteur avait laissé au vestiaire sa tenue de rocker pour recevoir les insignes de chevalier de la Légion d'honneur. Jacques Chirac a rendu hommage à l'idole des jeunes, qui est devenue, selon le président, l'idole de tout un pays.
You've become something of a political figure. You were given the Légion d'honneur by Chirac, and you're adopted as a role model by the Prime Minister Raffarin. What, do you enjoy that? Do you seek that?
It's not really my word.
Yeah.
I'm proud, yes, to have that, but I mean, I didn't ask for anything, and, you know, Elton John now, it's me, Sir Elton John, you know, why not?
I think that the whole showbiz, the whole French singers are sort of admire Johnny because he's always been there. Lots of them write for Johnny.
Alors voici une chanson que vous connaissez bien. J'aimerais vous l'entendre chanter avec moi.
Do you work closely with your writers?
Yes, much for the music. And on the ideas of the lyrics as well, you know, because I could not sing something that I don't believe in or that I don't feel comfortable.
Oh Marie, dans tes bras nus me reposer, évanoui mon innocence. Tu étais pour moi ma dernière chance. Peu à peu, tu disparais, malgré mes efforts désespérés.
You have to believe in the ideas inside the song.
Yeah, I loved that song because it was a song speaking about a sniper was in the war and that he's gonna die. He knows he's gonna die. So he writes to Marie. So the thing is, who is Marie? Nobody knows. Marie could be his sister, his mother, his girlfriend, his wife, or could be Marie. but nobody knows. And when I asked Gerald Palmas, tell me who is Marie, he said, I don't know. He's Marie.
Allongé dans l'herbe, je m'éveille. J'ai vu la mort dans son plus simple appareil. Elle m'a promis des vacances. Oui, la mort m'a promis sa dernière danse. Oh Marie, tu savais. J'attendrai qu'au ciel tu viennes me retrouver. Oh Marie, oui j'attendrai qu'au ciel tu viennes me retrouver.
In the old days, he used to take a good American or English song and put French words on it. It's really French now. I mean, you know, with borrowing a few things. I mean, you know, electric guitar and things like that. We don't use that in our culture. But now everybody is playing with electric guitar.
Are you now becoming more attracted to sing the songs of Aznavour, Piaf, Brassens, those, that school, that tradition?
For the lyrics, yes.
Yeah.
For the music, no. Because it's not my music. So, but those wonderful lyrics on music that I like, you know, like more rhythm and blues or more bluesy or more funky music, that would be fantastic. But I'm always trying to have good lyrics on the songs I'm doing.
Le premier cri que j'ai poussé, c'était un cri de nouveau-né. Le jour où ma mère me mit bas,
The novelist François Sagan wrote some lyrics for you. How did that come about?
François Sagan is a very close friend of mine. So one night we had dinner together, and I said it would be great if you could write something for me. Something, you know, who looks like you and me. And she said, that means what? I said, desperate. So she went back home, and in the morning I had on my fax about 6 pages of ideas of the song who became Quelques Cris.
La deuxième fois que j'ai crié, ce fut un cri de volupté. Lorsqu'une femme m'attira, nu tremblant entre ses draps, l'éclat du plaisir me fit peur.
I started to try to do a music on it, and it was very difficult to do a music on that song because it was written as a poem and not as a song. And I didn't want to waste those good lyrics on the bad music. So finally, my son David came home and said, oh, that's great. What is it? I say, that's from François Sagan. He said, can I try? And he came back the next day, and I heard what he did, and it was great. He was the first who understood the meaning of the lyrics and did something very, very strong.
Si aujourd'hui je ne crie plus, c'est qu'une autre a pris le dessus. Elle parle peu, elle parle bas, la solitude brise ma voix, l'écho de ma vie me fait peur. Que le corps papa se froid.
In the end, he is this rocker. He's done all the things that rockers are supposed to do. He's had the near-fatal car crash. He's had the drugs busts. He's had the succession of glamorous blondes and the wives and the mistresses and the affairs and the illegitimate children and the, you know, and the despair and all that sort of stuff. He's done it all. And yet he has sold well over 100 million records. You're talking about a man who, somewhere between the equivalent of a quarter and a third of the whole population of France has seen this man sing live. You know, that's how big he is.
L'air du garçon qui ne sait pas que le cœur parfois se foudroie. Que le cœur parfois se foudroie. Les portes du pénitencier bientôt vont se fermer. Et c'est là que je finirai ma vie comme d'autres gars l'ont fini.
Il est vraiment populaire, même au niveau showbiz. C'est vraiment la figure emblématique au niveau des fêtes de Saint-Tropez, au niveau des sorties sur Paris. C'est plus qu'un personnage de la chanson, c'est vraiment un emblème pour nous.
Il est très populaire, quoi. Mais je pense pas que la culture au sens où on pourrait l'entendre, qu'il en soit l'archétype.
Toi qui ce soir as tout perdu, à demain tu peux gagner.
It's very difficult for us to accept Johnny as a French phenomenon because the basis of what he does isn't French. Rock and roll is not French. We get things that are very genuinely French. We can understand even if we don't appreciate the genius of the vocals of a Piaf.
Allez, venez, Milord, vous avez l'air d'un mot. Laissez-vous faire milord. Venez dans mon royaume, je soigne.
There is no doubt that the chanson tradition is a more genuine expression of the French spirit.
Qui n'ont pas eu de chance, regardez-moi.
Peut-être son handicap était par rapport au rock'n'roll, effectivement. Que les anglo-saxons, d'après ce que j'ai compris, le considéraient plutôt comme un clone, que comme un chanteur original.
When you've got Elvis Presley, you don't need Johnny Hallyday. And when you got, I don't know, Mick Jagger or John Lennon, Paul McCartney, you don't need Johnny Hallyday.
It doesn't appear as a pure French singer. He is very French in reality, but he doesn't appear as a pure, very French singer.
Not as well known in America and London. Does that worry you a little?
Oh, I accept that very, very well, you know, because, you know, I'm a French singer, and I sing in French, so musicians knows me. But the big audience doesn't know me as much as people knows me in my country.
But that seems to be changing now with your other career as a film actor.
I must say that since The Man on the Train was been quite a successful French movie in England and the United States, when the movie came out, people recognized me more in the street because they saw me acting in the movie as a singer, and that made me laugh very much. Because I've been singing for 43 years, and I had only one movie who came out, you know, so I say, well, it's funny because people say, oh, you are the actor, you are the Man on the Train. I say, hello.
Dans le film, Johnny Hallyday joue un personnage assez désabusé, désenchanté. Quelqu'un qui est revenu de beaucoup de choses. Quelqu'un qui a une espèce de lassitude, de fatigue.
Je n'ai plus de trinitrine. Non, désolé, j'en ai plus.
Aspirine.
Et vous en aurez quand?
Demain?
Bon. Bon, demain, bon. Je repasserai. Au revoir.
I love to play with actors. I love to play in front of a camera, and I love to play characters that is the opposite from what I am in life, or as a singer. You know, for me, it's great to play and to be somebody in a movie that is so far away from Johnny Hallyday, the singer. Merde, il m'a filé l'effervescente.
Alors, il vous faut de l'eau. J'habite pas loin, si vous voulez.
I was very proud and happy to do that movie because I love Jean Rochefort.
Did you like playing with him? The two of you together?
Yeah,
you seem
because
very happy with
yes,
each
because
other.
you know we are so opposite. You know, Jean Rochefort and me, we are from such a different world. You know, that it was very interesting to play with somebody who is so far away from what you are.
C'est pas une ville très animée. Voilà, on est arrivé.
Vous laissez ouvert.
Toujours. Et puis j'ai perdu la clé.
En France, qui est le pays dans lequel il est le plus connu, il y a un effet pervers un peu curieux qui est que le public de cinéma ne prend pas au sérieux comme acteur, et ils ont tort. Et le public du chanteur ne s'intéresse pas à lui comme chanteur. Et le film a beaucoup mieux marché dans tous les pays où Johnny Hallyday n'est pas connu.
Since I have done this movie, I had quite a lot of producers from the United States and directors who called my agency in Paris to ask me to do some movies over there.
Comme ça qu'il pourrait trouver son équilibre. Il serait une énorme star en France comme chanteur, il continuerait à être une énorme star en France comme chanteur, et il deviendrait une énorme star de 60 ans à l'étranger comme acteur. C'est parfait. C'est parfait.
You've remained a phenomenal star for longer than almost anyone else. You've never known anything but that. Do you think that it's made your life happier or more difficult?
I was very, very obsessed about not being able to live really in a normal way. And then, you know, after the years, I said, well, I wanted to be Johnny Hallyday. I'm Johnny Hallyday, so that's the rançon de la gloire, as we say. It's, you know, and I have to take it like it is. So, but it was, when I was younger, I was not very happy about it.
But you must have enjoyed the crowds, the success, everything that came with it. That must have been a positive side.
Yes, of course. The positive side, you know, it's to when you go on stage. So when you're on stage, it's fantastic because, you know, you have such a feeling with the audience and everything. And then, but it's the problem is when you go out of stage. And the rest of the day or the night is not so easy. But, you know, I got used to it now.
Have you enjoyed doing what you've done?
Yes.
And would you do it again?
I will start it all over with all the mistakes and all the successful of it.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Non, rien de rien. Oh non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Oh non, non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. C'est payé, balayé, oublié. Je me fous du passé. Avec mes souvenirs, j'ai allumé le feu. Et chacun mes plaisirs, je n'ai plus besoin de balayer mes amours avec leurs traits mollo, balayer pour toujours. Je repars à zéro. Non, rien de rien.
The South Bank Show, in association with Barclays Private Bank.
Bring your